We are bitches. We stress for doing something we love. And I was like, yes, let's go for it. And we went in Paris in this strip club. Oh, I had a creative idea. You saw it 5 weeks ago. Maybe just doing. You think you love yourself, but not so much, actually.
If you stress
Of
before
course.
the performances.
Okay, what am I gonna do with this bottle? A roll, a roll. It's annoying for the one next door. With my husband, we start to hang myself from my hair. Nobody put a knife and say, you're gonna go on stage. Maybe some coach might do sometimes.
Hello, welcome to the show Between Times, and today our guest is performer, artist, also what I read, a hypnotherapy specialist. It was very interesting and we will go to it. Marion Crampe. Hello.
Hello.
How do you feel today?
I feel grateful. Grateful to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy because I need my morning podcast period. Normally it's my husband, but today it's going to be you. I love to share my experiences and what I learned. So I'm very happy. And about this weekend was amazing. All the dedication, the passion I have seen during those 2 days, and like the team that put this whole event together, the people, the vendors, everyone, even the people from the hotel, and very welcoming.
Yeah, we are at after the Fusion Championship,
Exactly.
between the workshops, so exactly between times between these events. And yeah, very curious because this event, this championship had 2 days, and I guess it's not like that anywhere else. Can you share your experience, how it was judging 2 days? Was it like hard, easy, how much energy it takes? And, yeah.
Okay. I don't judge much competition anymore because many events in the past we were less humans performing and competing, so it was short event, and also I think it was a selection because it was different time, different, of course, also maybe budget in terms of like the places, so you need to bring people to finalize your budget, I can imagine. But therefore, like I know there is many events that it goes for so many hours, and as we know, the attention of somebody, any kind of human, is an average of maximum an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you need break. I often do not accept to judge for more than a certain amount of hours because I don't think it's fair to the people who put so much time to create their piece, to travel and to not be, and also because personally, I don't know, for the people who will see me judging or have seen, I'm into the experience. My head is shaking, my everything is super exhausting. And to be attentive and to give the same amount from the person at 9 a.m. to the one at 10 p.m. With almost quick few breaks to pee and to eat very fast. So it's a lot, and I'm admiring every single judge for any kind of events because it's a work. It's real. It's not just. It's absolutely not for fun, or for me it's an absolute work, and it requires attention, dedication, time, and a lot of energy. So it was amazing. It's of course better that it's 2 days, so like this we can take a breath and digest also what we have seen the day before, etc. And for the audience also, I think it's for everybody because the audience is here. They want to see, but when you have seen too much, it's like almost like you go to a perfume shop. You have smelled too many perfume, and you're like, I don't smell anything anymore. So everything tastes the same. So I think it's important, it's very well done this way, so we can have time to digest.
Did I hear correctly? Like you said, now you don't judge much, or
No. I I do because I do other stuff, many other stuff. Pole dancing is a piece of my journey, but it doesn't define me only. Like I also go underwater and up in the air, and I'm doing theater. I'm doing like hypnotherapy, and also I'm just being without all this. So for that, I do many other stuff, and I try to understand what it fulfill me. And when I do something like coming here, I commit to the fullest, and not just like because I do it because we have to do it.
Then I'm very curious to know like why you decided to come to the fusion. Like what was that?
Intuition. To be honest, I don't know. And even Olga, she say, I thought you will not answer. And I'm like, why? We create expectation, maybe, of people. I don't know. I felt an intuition. I felt, yeah, I need to come here. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy because I share the judging panel with incredible people, Paulina, Olga, and Annette. It was absolutely delightful to be with them because they are also very implicated in what they do. Like the conversation we have about who is on the podium, etc., and the feedback were very beautiful and very interesting. Like, yeah, growing. It was a very cool and everything, the organization. I'm glad I came to this, and I can feel from Olga that she's not like an organizer that saw the light and organized a competition. She knows what she's talking about, and you
caring.
and you reflect because, yeah.
Yeah, it's growing like every year and becoming better and better. And yes, this is the place where the competitors, they don't be afraid of something is going wrong, like schedule is wrong. Like you just come and you can like dive into your performance and share, and this is like precious.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You said about the hair hanging and also going like under the water. In one of the interviews or somewhere, like I always prepare for the interview and go dive into personality. And there was a thing that you said about experience. The sensations experience. Like this sounds like a motto for trying and testing life in different dimensions. And it's interesting from where it is coming, from what it started and how it like went further. So what came first, and how came the hair hanging, how came the diving, and yeah.
First, we are here, and now the only thing we can do is experience it to the fullest, especially if we are very grateful to be in a safe place, healthy, physically and mentally, as much as possible, searching always, of course, but it would be quite a pity to not explore as much as possible. At least to me, I'm a generator in the human design. So people are like, you always do something because I'm a motor. If you stop the motor, it died. Some other manifest, some other, I generate. So I need to, in order to generate, I need to generate. And what was the thing is like, I think it almost makes sense, at least for my physical practice, which I'm following now. So I start to want to be a dancer, and I was not good, apparently. That's what they were telling me. And so I discovered pole dancing, and I start to find that I have wings, and I can be more free. And then eventually I keep elevating somehow with my hair. And then eventually from still being attached, I start to free dive. And to me, it's not going back down. It's actually complete freedom.
Okay, going
Because
spreading.
I don't have any attach anymore, but I'm connecting to the fullest to the element, which is water, and the capabilities of movement that outside of water is not possible. And plus, I understood that we are made of water, and we forgot that we survived in the water for 9 months, and we forgot it. And eventually you go at 10, 12 more meters down, and you can dance, and you are not dead. You're not breathing like now, but you're still breathing, otherwise. So the capacity, the mental capacity, I think this is also very powerful. Like everything brings you to a sort of consciousness, like if we are a bit more.
I'm also curious about how did you find these things? Like, were you inspired from someone? Like you saw maybe performance of pole dancer, and also about hair hanging. Like how did it happen?
I didn't find. I think there is this very beautiful quote. Life is happening to me. No, life is. So to stop to make it personal. It just came. That's it. And for example, pole dancing. Of course, after I got and I saw Felix Kane, but I think one day a friend says, "You want to try to dance like in the strip club?" And I was like, "Yes, let's go for it." And we went in Paris in this strip club, and I took my first class, and I fell in love. But I didn't. And then eventually I found, and then for hair hanging, my friend, one of my best friends, she's a skin hanger. She used to be. And I was not very driven to hang from my skin, not because, but I was like, I don't know, like it's fascinating me, but I think. And then eventually, with my husband, we start to hang myself from my hair in my living room, and then voila. And one day, my dear now, almost like a brother, Bastien, say, "I would like to put you in the water." I'm like, I don't know what the fuck it is, but let's go for it. And now look at me.
So open for new experience.
Yes, and I want more. Now I'm singing.
Yeah, I saw. It's
yeah,
amazing.
I start singing lesson.
Cool. Like I also done for 1 year singing when I was like trying to spread my voice, because I was always calm and expressing more with the body, and the voice was something like very uncomfortable, and singing really helped in it, and it's so joyful to sound. Yeah.
Yes.
So. What I felt from you, that you are always with the gratitude, like that vibrations, and also what I took for myself just from watching your profile, like don't take it for granted. And it's a big thing for me, what I took, like really. But where I'm leading now, this spirituality, it doesn't just appear like somehow. It usually starts from somewhere. Like for example, my friend now, she was like, okay, I was always denying spirituality, and now I'm like, but what is that? Like how you go into it, how it appears, like maybe something change, like something happens, and after that you changes and start that research in spirituality more. How it was with you?
I think it's a mix of many things. I think culture can make you more or less in touch with this. Also, your story, like family and whatever comes with it. To me, I think from very young age, I really always had that. Also with my, like in my family, that there was like some women that were healers. And, but it was very complicated to understand exactly what it was, and almost painful. And eventually I made amazing connection of especially women in my journey that teach me. They were not calling it spirituality or whatever, but they were like teaching me something that I was like, I think it's what I'm looking for. And then eventually it grows, and I document myself, because humans, we have this incredible capacity of knowledge and receiving more. Actually, many beings have this, but I mean in the terms of words and like understanding different things and feeling emotion that we were talking previously with you before this talk. And then eventually I felt like it actually makes me understand better myself and others, to be more open. And about the thing that you say, that you don't take it for granted anything, because it's a constant, continuous learning. What is spirituality? I cannot define it. I just feel. And when I think something I have to understand, boom, something else comes. I'm like, oh shit, you know? And I'm a big explorer. I like, I go in, like I do ceremony with the plant medicine, and I do also the hypnotherapy. I do therapy for myself. I meditate, and on pretty much daily basis, and also I listen people. For example, the taking not granted, it's a learning I received from the father of my friend Taylor. He has Parkinson for many years, and I like that he, in an interview, he say, Parkinson is part of me, and of course I have anger. And one day, Taylor, he was a professional cyclist, and he broke his leg in million pieces. He was one of the best promised cyclists. And his father say, I was upset for Taylor to leave this, but it didn't reside in me. It passed through me, and it didn't reside in me. And the happiness that come after of surrendering, I also don't take it for granted, because it will pass, like everything. Eventually pass. And you see that even people in despair, the resilience, and also resilience in joy, because joy eventually goes, you know, life goes. That's why sometimes I'm like, why the fuck we are, like, you know, yesterday I was seeing everybody, even me, I was stressing before my performance. And then I finished performing, and I'm like, I said to Aliona, Amber, we are bitches. We stress for doing something we love, and at the end of the day, voilà, c'est fini. You know?
This was something I also wanted to ask about, if you stress
Of
before
course.
the performances, because there was something you said about, like, if you dive and you stress, you better don't dive, like you take it.
I don't call it stress, actually. There is, I think your words are your experience. So there is some words I don't really use. Busy, I'm not busy, I'm occupied. And stress, the same, I'm overwhelmed. And I am overwhelmed. Of course, I have my rituals, like I'm a bit like cuckoo with the rituals. And I need a space for myself, but of course, and you know, at the end of the day I don't feel this anymore, let's change. I crave for this. It's the same I crave. Like yesterday, somebody say, "Oh la la, those Swarovski. Everybody wear Swarovski." I'm like, I'm doing this for the Swarovski, for costume. Otherwise, I would do another job. I do this job to put feather on my butt. Otherwise, I will do to put eyelashes, to put makeup, or not, because maybe there is a purpose to not put. But to think about it, this is also why I'm doing what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I do another job. Mm-hmm. And I leave the space for the one, yeah.
So you're overwhelmed.
I'm overwhelmed, oh yes. Oh my God.
What is in it? What sensations?
Well, the sensation is, I think as an artist, maybe performing artist, because my husband is a painter, so maybe it's a bit different, but we also do it for the audience. And this is maybe also my personal thing, but we need also to do that the others receive whatever has to be received. And so to be the pressure of, as a perfectionist also, to be at the level that I train for, a bit also to be accepted. But this I tried really hard to work on it and to just bring myself the most authentic without pleasing, because it doesn't bring you very far. So this is important, and also well, to not injure yourself. That's also a good point. You know, yeah, like because we take risk, a lot of risk, everybody, and we sometimes forget that we can damage ourselves forever. And so it's also a part of the thing, and stick to your plan, because you train, at least I train very hard, even if I'm just performing. I dedicate a lot of time to it, and I wish to be, to make the job that I would love to give to myself and to others.
It was very clicking to me about perfectionism. It isn't in a plan of the interview, but I'm still curious to ask how you live with that. Do you try to change it? Yeah.
How do I live with that? For so many years, very badly.
Not perfect.
No, and at the point that I remember so many of my friends, I was competing, and I was never satisfied and always crying. And they were like, "Oh my God, you're so fucking annoying. Like, can you just one day enjoy?" And I think the meeting other artists, more experience, or some with more like confident. Like, for example, my dear friend Ona, she's a very beautiful inspiration for this, because many times she has explained how when she enters on stage, she's so confident. And like nothing can destabilize. And I was always admiring, among other things I admire about her, this. And I was like, oh, fuck, I wish I can taste this and not be fucking killing myself. And it's a lot about self-love. I think I have been hard on loving myself for many years. I love a lot others. And I was like, you think you love yourself, but not so much, actually. Because you're making yourself suffering for, again, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, this time I took one consultation with another choreographer before I started my performance. It was a new thing. And the thing which I took from our consultation, like, enjoy creating your piece. Like, do you enjoy creating choreography for the performance? And I was like, I actually care so much. Like, okay, I'm choreographer. I need to like show, like to express it. And I was like, okay, this time I'm trying to enjoy it. This is the main thing. And I actually managed to do it. And before going on stage, I was also like, oh, and then like, can I now also enjoy? And I was like, oh, okay. It wasn't like that big relief, but it was so different. And being on stage also, like, yeah, it's about perfectionism. I'm also perfectionist, and this is something what
let's ask how many people are not
on the stage of the competition.
Of course, and for example, to just I jump into your words. I have rituals, many, and one of them is I say it loud to myself, and even yesterday, Marion, just for fun, just for fun, because otherwise, again, let's do something else. We need to do it for fun, also. It's so important because, yes, competing, and I understand all the parameter behind, but we also do it because we choose to be here. Nobody put a knife and say, you're going to go on stage. Maybe some coach might do sometimes. But at the end of the day, we choose. So just for fun, come on.
You mentioned a lot about the rituals, and also the topic of discipline can be very interesting for people because most usually they feel it as a frames. Also me once, like some time ago, I was like, no, I'm free soul, no frames. And then, yes, when like reading also about you, there was like discipline, it's my freedom, which I just love. How you like not spell, but how you told it. Yeah, can you maybe a little bit tell more about it and about the rituals? What are your favorite rituals? Yeah.
So I will join you in this last thing you said about when I was in the hypnotherapy class. He talked about the left brain and the right brain people. And of course, everybody wants to be in the side of creation and da, da, da. And I'm like, I have discipline tattoo on my back. I'm a left brain, definitely, like I'm very structured. And eventually that helped me to be artistic. But most of us, we are led by organization. Structure, because I think it gives stability. Maybe it's an illusion of stability, like everything anyway, but it helps to guide the path. There is different brain. For example, my husband, he's more chaotic. I'm constant. If I'm gonna tell you, okay, I started this, I'm gonna do it like religiously. He's more like, one day he wants to be a marathonian, then the other day he's gonna be a DJ, and then I will be a DJ forever, a marathonian forever. Yes, that's why he doesn't want me to start bikes, because he rides bike, but I will ride bike every freaking day for 9 hours and maybe eventually join my dear friend Kasia in her competitions. But to me, and this sentence is not from me, discipline is the base of my freedom, is from Marie-Agnès Gillot, which is an étoile, French ballerina. And she say something that we are like horses, wild horses, and our practice give us a space to be structured. And it helps me because, for example, having rituals from the morning when I wake up, I do certain movement before I came out of my bed. And David, that is completely, my husband, chaotic, is like, ay, c'est parti. And I follow. I do this, I do my facial yoga, I do my cold shower, I brush my body with a dry brush. And I do it even now. I have my dry brush, I did my cold shower, because it makes me, okay, now I have done this, now I have space. You know, I don't have, when I see people with 1,000 WhatsApp didn't answer, I'm like, I never experienced that. All my emails are on point, because now I can be with you and talk for 2 hours. And I'm not like, I have to go and answer my emails. No. Some of my friends make so much fun of me. Like Michelle Shimi, she's like, 10 a.m., Marion has 5 days already, go on. She's starting her Friday when you just start Monday. But because after I have time, I can stay, enjoy, relax, because all the discipline is done. So it gives you space for freedom.
Also in dancing, sports, it also like, without it you won't have freedom.
Yes, for example, I say to people, you know this sentence where they say, dance like nobody is watching you. I do the opposite. Because like this, I train like everybody's watching me. I train like everybody's watching me, and then when I'm on stage, I don't have to think about that. Because I have been training this way. So when I'm on stage, I'm just have space for freedom to be, because I know my movement, my technique is, I always also say to people, it's not because it's training you do half. Give me everything.
I just loved how this dance like nobody watching and dance like everyone is watching just found its place in one like train as everyone is watching. And
yeah, because like this you push to the fullest.
Yeah.
So like, for example, you push to the fullest your lines. So then when you come on stage, this is...
You can just be.
Yeah, because this is in your body. So your body knows that the line is there and is not other place. Because if you do a bit like Lili, then you have to focus on la 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 and the presence. And eventually it's overwhelming. It's enough overwhelming just to be in the present. So if you have to think about the technique on the top of it when you are in front of everyone.
Absolutely agree.
At least for me.
Agree. Okay. Also, as I said, like it's great if we dive in the hypnotherapy topic. Just not so long ago, I learned about it. I'm planning to go to study dance and movement therapy, and then I was searching for the therapists, and I found like, oh, hypnotherapy exists. Like, wow, what is that? And yeah, maybe you can just share what is that and in which way you experience that.
So, how it came to me, the same as everything else, it came to me. I'm teaching for many years, pole dancing and other movement, and I understand you talk about experience. You know, I really am convinced even more and more, like pole dancing, free diving or flexibility, whatever it is, are mediums. The true thing is the experience. It's the same as, for me, performing. If people in 20 years, maybe it's a bit far, but in 5 years, they remember that moment that they saw that person and they remember the taste. They don't remember the tricks. Who give a fuck? But they remember what they experienced at that very moment, even a petty taste of it. That's experience, to me, is creating something, emotion, whatever we call it, feelings. Instead of remembering, you know, I like also when people come to my class and say, after 5 days or a week or a month, I still remember the taste. If they tell me, what was the tricks? I'm like, I missed something. But the experience. And I realized that it's something that I know, or at least I provoke to myself and to others. Experience. And eventually some people at some point, they were telling me, I don't want to dance, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, that's another topic. And I start to have conversation with people, and I'm like, I think I need more knowledge. So I was like, more knowledge about how to receive what the people have to share, emotion or words, because you can really, without wanting it, damage people.
Yeah.
If you are not in the right presence, in the right words, in the right listening. So I was like, okay, what I should do? I wanted to go back to university, and a friend told me, maybe for you, with this experience you have now, it's too clinical. You're gonna treat mental disease and mental health in a very clinical way. Maybe it's a bit, what you experience is a bit not connecting with what you need, which is the common, random everybody. So I was like, okay. And then a friend of mine said, Marion, I did this course of hypnotherapy, and every time I go, I think about you. I'm like, okay, sign up. And I signed up. I went to school for 2 years. And eventually, I don't advertise. And I have many artists that I try to help and guide. But I think, like people say, why you don't? Because I think people that
Search.
or need the call, they read that I'm a hypnotherapist. And that's it. Because hypnotherapy, does it work? Yes. If you believe, it works. It's like the same as spirituality. If you're skeptical, you can be skeptical. I'm skeptical of it. But Miguel Ruiz say, be skeptical, but learn to listen. And hypnotherapy is this, is me listening to you and you listening to yourself. And I'm not the healer, you are the healer, and I just help you to speak to yourself in a more clear way. And it's what he heal pretty much everything as far as you decide to do for yourself. And doesn't take any substance, okay? The only substance is your words and yourself. And it's not theater performance like hypnose in show. That means people will try. This is another type of therapy. I'm doing Erickson technique, which is we use conversational. So I'm asking people questions. They can sound sometimes very basic, but basic is foundation. So, for example, I don't know, I feel excited. And I'm like, what is excited? Because my excitement is not yours. So I would like to listen. And eventually, by somebody explaining what is excitement, they also listen to themselves and realize, oh, interesting. And then you go through this. And when we have found out a bit where we have to go, I will use all those information that you share to give back to yourself in hypnosis. So it's a modified state of consciousness, but you're conscious. You're not going to the
Other worlds.
you go, but actually it's the same. We just don't aware of it. It's a state of meditation, a bit longer, that I maintain by the conversation I have with you, and that help you to dive deeper into your subconscious. But you're absolutely conscious and you remember everything.
We stepped in the topic of education. This was like surprising, that 2 years studying hypnotherapy, but also what I found that you learned as disabled sport gymnastics
Yes.
coach, right?
Education, yes.
Yeah, like how you found it, why exactly that?
Well, I want to be a dancer. I was not good enough, but I was at very young age, I will do it anyway. And my parents were like, okay, study. So I went to sport university. And it was different thing. You can be a sport teacher at school. No, thank you. And not because it's not interesting, but because of the system. I think it's very limiting. And it was also trainer, like for
Gym?
athletes in general, and management of sport event, and training different bodies, multi-capacity. And I have in my very close friends people with different capacities, because I don't like so much disability. I think it's their superpower. So it was very interesting, and actually we all multi-capacity or disabled, if you want to talk it differently. And yeah, it always like it was interesting, and it helped me also in my career now. You know, when I'm teaching workshops like I'm going to do in a few hours, I cannot speak the same to everybody, and at the same time, yes. So it's reinforcing, and I think I'm not the same teacher that I was a month before. I say that because like last month we did a retreat with my friend Edouard. It's called Renaissance. And during that retreat, it's a pole retreat, but we also do plant medicine. So you come, you do pole, but you experience also deep, like ayahuasca and all these things. So it's quite intense. And we also take the medicine, and we also discover more. And for me, it was also a discovery that I taught a class 2 days later of flexibility. And I was like, wow, that was the most beautiful class I ever. I was saying things I never really say that way. And it was fascinating. And I think I taught workshops since then, like last week in Italy. And I think I'm in another stage again of my journey as a teacher. And yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool to experience. So yeah, constant education. At least to me, it's important. Some other will find other way. There is not one way, but we have this possibility to educate constantly through books, through podcasts. You know, podcast is amazing. I love podcasts. I listen so many. When I'm running, when I'm traveling, I love to hear people, because podcast allowed, there is space. More than an interview, it's space to learn each other and to have time to share. And I love to listen. I love it.
To dive deep, yeah. Like to everyone experience sensations. Yeah, me too. You also mentioned about books. This is also something I took from what you do. Like you share books, and you also share your inspirations. So what from your page, I found so much inspiration, and also things which I didn't know about, being in the industry of pole for so many years. So thank you for sharing these things. Very usually people keep it like, okay, it's something mine, and somehow afraid even to share. Like it was for me for some time, and I know other people who like somehow try to save it with themselves. I'm curious to know like also how you felt like, okay, I will share those people who inspire me and keep it, you know, as a routine. And also, second question is about maybe books which comes now and which you would recommend.
Okay. Mine. You know, there is this word, mine, in some culture, like Aborigine, doesn't exist. Because it's everything is to everybody. Mine is possession. You know, it's I'm reading a book right now. It's called A New Earth of Eckhart Tolle. Maybe you know The Power of Now.
I heard of it, yeah.
Okay, this is another book of him, A New Earth. And he's talking about, for example, love. I love you. In Spanish, he says one of the most sincere in terms of egocentric. He said, te quiero. Te quiero means I want you.
Oh, really?
But for many people, they see love like this, possession. Mm-hmm. Instead of, in Catalan, which my husband is t'estimo. I have esteem for you. Mm-hmm. I have admiration for who you are, which is different way to express love. And like about like sharing about others and about what inspire you, and be afraid of sharing. It's a bit the same, and I think the pole community to me is like, I always take this example. This is, no matter, there is petit drama and everything, but this is community. Because I think we had no choice to, first of all, be as ourselves, because we were not accepted by dance, we were not accepted by circus, we were not accepted by whatever. So we had to grow ourselves. Many other community, they call themselves community. I'm like, you should experience pole community. Because we have no choice but to be united. Because nobody wants us in their community. So they're like, okay, we're going to create our own. And I do podcast or interview for other community, yoga, circus, and they're like, how do you cope with this, that people, they're gonna copy you or reproduce everything you're doing on, and I talk about not me, in general. Mm-hmm. Because you see a combo and then 5,000 million people do the same. And the people are like, but they stole your sequence, and in circus especially it's like this, or dance. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and what? You know, I love what one of my favorite singer artists, I have many, but Rai X, he said something. He's an amazing also human, and I recommend everybody to listen to him. He said something very interesting. He say, my music is mine until the moment I release it. Mm-hmm. Then it's yours. Mm-hmm. How can I claim that you're using my music when I put it out? And nowadays with social media, if you put it out, it's not yours anymore.
It started to connect with the previous interview I did with Dan Rosen, and we exactly spoke about people stealing choreographies, especially in exotic pole dance. It's also like that, and he was like, you spend so much hours in creating, investing yourself, like becoming better version of yourself, and they just take it and teach the same combo, why they do
so. There is something I will put. It's absolute. I speak like this, but I also understand people, for example, in the circus industry, because I'm a lot in the circus industry, or what you just mentioned, is different when people start to make business out of your creation. This is another topic. For example, you create an art piece, and somebody gonna be booked for a show where actually with your piece or with your content for workshop, and this is not okay. Mm-hmm. This is ethical. But if you do it for yourself to train and to experience and to try the move or whatever, but the thing is, again, word. I don't say, if I try the word of my friend Majo or Colum or whoever, or Daniel, I think we need to redefine, this is not inspired by, this is reproduction. Mm-hmm. to be clear with words we use. Inspiration is seeing something and taking the impulse to create your own salsa. If you do exactly the same movement, it's a reproduction. And there is nothing bad about reproduction, but to be honest with the fact that you have reproduced. That's why I always say, when I do something from another performer, because I want to try a move, I say, reproduce from this person. But this is not inspiration if I didn't put something different. Mm-hmm. It's a reproduction, and it's okay. People are afraid of words. No, actually it's more valuable, and if assume that you just reproduce something. It's okay, it's nothing to be ashamed of. Assume you're doing it. Inspiration is different. Mm-hmm. For example, if you don't want, and it's hard to not be driven by, because now with this we see so much. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, I had a creative idea. You saw it 5 weeks ago, maybe just doing or in the street. Yeah. You know, that's why my husband, for example, he's a painter, and he has Instagram, but he doesn't spend time there because he say, I don't want to be impacted. Yeah. I want my art to be, and it's not easy. Yeah. But he's impacted by many other things, of course. Like he cannot live in a city like Berlin because he will go cuckoo. Too much inspiration, you know. But he's impacted by many other things, and I really admire that because. But I also love to. This is an amazing tool to discover other people, and that's why I want my platform to be not only about me, because actually it's about me because those people make me. Absolutely. So I want to share about them. To me it's obvious that we're having a human experience, and we cannot be human alone.
Exactly.
We are human because of connection.
Yeah, and we learn from each other.
Yeah, of course.
It's possible. I just want to say that I love your consciousness about the naming, about like how you treat words. Like this is also very connected to me. Sometimes I'm not conscious about some words, and I love to learn how other people, put English words, how other people put attention to it, and I love to learn from it. Also about the books, you mentioned one book.
Yes. So I love books so much. I love story. I love story of people, of their life, because as much as I love podcasts, I love spiritual books and a lot, but not only. Sometimes I like, give me a break. You know, I don't want to always search. But also I love a lot Greek mythology. So Madeline Miller with Circe and the Song of Achilles is books that I really makes me travel. I cry. I feel. We read. We don't have TV. We just read a lot of books with my husband, and sometimes he's annoying because he read at like speaking. So I love you so much, but so I'm next to him, and Bernie is like, He's like, oh my God. So it's interesting at night. This book non-conversation conversation. But other than this, like the New Earth that I'm reading now, it's hard book because I have to. It's a lot and very complex, and at the same time but I have to sometimes read 6 times the same sentence to understand exactly what it means, and not just like voila, and just consume words. So it's a book I think it's gonna take time to me. And I also love biography of Marina Abramovic. I had to reread again Martha Graham, and also other people that I really find fascinating, even if their story is, I listen podcast of engineer, of business people of 20 years old or 15 years old, because diversity. And sometimes I like, okay, and when what they say, I'm like, okay, I needed to hear this today. Mm-hmm. And it's very cool, like open your mind, not just to what you love. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important to do this, even with people. You know, like sometimes you're like, no, I don't want to, this person doesn't have the same interest as me. Sit down and talk.
Yeah.
So I talk a lot to strangers. Yes. My David is always like, who is your new friend? I talked to the other day in Italy, the taxi driver, we hug at the end. And I know everything about his wife leaving, he didn't finish to build the house, and he knows about my salsa too. And we hug. Because at the end of the day, it can change the course of our journey. Not only me to him, but him to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I not so long ago heard, it's cool, like why we have friends, because we can live their experience, not like in our life. Mm-hmm. So they are different people and you can just experience it, you don't have to do the same thing. So mm-hmm. Yeah, and from that, like that's why I also love interviews and podcasts, because like I wouldn't try hair hanging because like it would pain for me, but I'm like fascinated to hear how is this experience, and about other things. Like we don't need to try it. We have pretty short life, but we can learn from others how
from
it is.
Listening.
Yeah, just listening.
And I think
speaking.
This is very beautiful what you say, because I think maybe something we should relearn at school or whatever in life in general is to listen. Mm-hmm. We don't listen. Mm-hmm. And the worst is when somebody, like, and sometimes I do too, and for sure you do too. Somebody is talking to you and you're not here, you're not present, or you're on the phone and you're like, and with David, for example, we are very like, we have an incredible connection, and we are also very honest to each other, and like, you're not listening. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, it's true. And we're honest also in the fact, like, sorry, I was not listening. Mm-hmm. And we never fight. It's been 11 years, we never had a fight. It doesn't mean people are like, how can you not fight? We communicate. It doesn't mean we agree on everything, but we communicate and we are honest in this communication. For example, yes, if some days, like the other day, we were talking about an important topic, which is a house. And I'm very not into this administrative shit. I hate it. Sorry, baby. But I was not listening. I was more interested to look at my friend's message. And it's like, Marion, it makes me disappointed that you're not listening, and it's important for the future, at least for you to know. Mm-hmm. For 5 minutes. And I was like, yes, true. I was not listening. And I will not do anymore. So now...
Oh, I'm so happy to hear examples when people say like we don't argue, because most usually I see it all around. Like I have pretty fresh relationships, and I'm like, am I gonna be the same?
This is if you want to go into a more like kumbaya thing. I am very interested. So in maybe my next education will be in numerology. Mm-hmm. And I love all the things about karma and something that you cannot explain scientifically or physically, but they are there. Mm-hmm. And actually, scientifically, there are also some proof. But for example, I also believe it doesn't mean not arguing. To me, it goes beyond communication and la la la. It's also, some people share karma for many, many other dimension or time or life or whatever you want to call it. And some others is fresh, and I think with David we don't share deep karma, trauma karma. Mm-hmm. It's a pure connection maybe that happened for the first time. So that we are kind of pure in this connection is my angel.
Do you believe that it's something what you affected and changed, or this is something what came? Because like karma, for more psychological aspect, I am watching mostly from that. Like you come from some kind of family and they left to you like maybe traumas, maybe something like not traumas, some story they had, and you just, if you don't go and consciously understand what is that, you are gonna reproduce the same thing. Sometimes it can be close to karma, maybe, like you continue that story if you don't change yourself.
It's complex, very complex topic, because they put on you or you took it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, parents. Okay, parents is the first time they are parents.
Yeah.
For you, your sister, your brother, your whatever. And they come with their own luggage they decide to carry, or somebody put on them. But to put the responsibility on others, it's
But again,
it's very sensitive topic. But the fact to decide to heal you and the past and the future, this is our own responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't say everybody is gifted with the same package. In the New Earth, this book, he called that pain body. We don't come, as when we're born, we don't come with the same pain body percentage. Some have higher pain body than others. Where does it come from? Do we need to accuse someone? You or others? It is. Life is. Things are not happening to us. Things are happening. Now, what do you decide to do with it in your everyday life? Because, for example, he say about your parents, you can try to complain to them about it. What you're going to do is just increase the separation. Because they are in their own reality. And as parents, kids are not yours. You gave them life. But possession. We come back to possession. Is to see people as human being. Human is a form, and being is a consciousness. A plant is a being. A bird is a being. A kid is a being as much as an adult. There is no hierarchy. In human form, there is a hierarchy. You're a woman, I'm a woman, is a man, is a
boss,
is both.
Yeah.
A form. So you create a separation also. In being, we are all at the same level. And I don't know if you know this very beautiful book from Turkish culture. It's called The Constellation of the Birds. It's the story of Simurg, which is the king of the birds. And 30 birds from all the type of birds gonna travel 7 valleys to arrive to Simurg. And each valley represents one thing. The first valley is a valley of possession. And the birds travel, and some birds say, I'm going to stay here. Because possessing, I assume this makes me happy. And the other one, okay, bye-bye. The second one is love in terms of needed the others. And they say, I'm going to stay here. And so on, they go through the valley. And eventually they reach a valley where it's consciousness. And they think, some of them, okay, I achieve it. And the last valley is, before going to Simurg, is understanding that you're everything and nothing. And maybe Buddha has reached this.
Yeah.
But some people say, yeah, Buddha was balanced. How do you know? If he was there, he would be not keep on searching for it. I think it's a never-ending. To arrive to Simorgues, it takes.
To maybe conclude the spiritual part, and then I will have one more. Being, I name it spirituality. Sorry if it's being in it. I believe, like, especially for artistic people, it's about going above the frames, like, and finding there is no borders. But how for you find that stability, let's say, like core, on what it is based, beside rituals, because I believe it really helps to structure how you don't lose yourself and core, because when you dive in that big diversity, it's so easy to get lost. Like, okay, you come and find you're everything and nothing, and this very, like, distracts.
Solitude. I love to be alone. And I love to be alone, not with my phone, not with a book, not with a podcast. And it's so hard. And that's why I was telling you before we started the interview, I'm listening this amazing podcast about explorer. They go in absolute solitude, which means nothing. That you, this person, this Brazilian very young explorator, she say, I was smiling without a smile on my face. I was upset without having anything, because I don't have to show anybody else than myself. And you start to talk to the plant, and you start to talk to give a name to the rocks, and then eventually you don't have anymore to do this. You walk for hours, you get bored, and eventually you're happy then to go back to maybe entertain with a book, play music. I never did a silent retreat. I'm very excited one day to do it. I experienced kind of, but I wasn't with humans. I went to Mongolia. I was with many friends of mine that don't speak English, so it was a sort of silent retreat. I was observing them a lot, but I was with humans still. But then eventually, observing them, I started to understand what they were talking about. But I had a lot of moments of solitude there, and almost it was weird to go back to civilization, although I was still with humans. But I think, yeah, to me, solitude helped me a lot to question, to people that call that boring time. I think we are we are afraid of get bored. But I think boring time is where imagination starts, When you are a child and you're bored, what do you do? Okay, what am I going to do with this bottle? It roll. And that creates a game, Yeah. It's annoying for the one next door, but boring makes you be creative.
Yeah.
And I think we are creative, but no, because we don't get bored anymore. Somebody is waiting for the doctor. What they do? They open their phone, or they read a book instead of just
watching others. Yeah.
Oh yes, just be like with yourself and think.
Do you find special time for that, or it comes naturally?
A lot. If I find special time, I provoke special time for that.
Yeah, like, do you?
I provoke, no. Yes. I make sure that everything that has to be done are done. So like this, I have that time to be able to happen. That's why I don't like people say to me often, but I didn't ask you because I know you're busy. I'm like, how do you know?
decided
assumption.
You. Yeah.
Like, actually, I'm not. When do you taking holidays? My life is holidays. I choose what I do every day. So I don't need to, and I have time to think. You know, when also time, what another interesting illusion. This girl actually, she say, when I start to be bored for hours and hours, I start to realize that I always had this time. We all have the same time. Then you decide to rush the time, but the time is the same for everybody. And it's not like now I have time. You had the same yesterday. You didn't see it. It's to pay more attention. But I think time we have, again, depends also your life situation. I have maybe more time to have time because I don't have a child.
Yeah.
Which children change a bit because somebody is responsible, and so therefore take more of your occupation. So then you have less moment for yourself because you're responsible of somebody else. But it's a choice.
Absolutely. One more thing which I wanted to speak about is actually LA show, Rise Up. As I understood, you participated in that, or you were on...
In the what?
Rise Up, LA show.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's more interesting personally, maybe even for me, because now I'm creating the show and I'm searching what is already created and how it is. And
You're creating your own show.
Yes.
What is it about?
About women's sexuality, how she's going to travel and find herself during this travel. But it's a small show. I'm just trying to set
There is
everything.
nothing small.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, I'm just curious what existed. I know that in LA, very big show existed, and I know that you participate in different.
But I didn't
shows.
participate in Rise.
No.
No. But instead, I can maybe talk to you about Pieta 2.0.
Let's go.
Because this is more actual, and this is so Pieta 2.0 is a show that we are with my dear partner Zia Azazi. He's a dervish performer, spinning, and we have created a duet, which is a 75-minute performance, and it's about actually raising a message about humanity, where we both go through all the stages that a human can pass through to be like born, a man, a woman, a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, lovers, children's, and eventually rise. We would like to, for this story where Pieta is the Michelangelo figure, where Jesus is laying on the lap of his mother. In Pieta 2.0, Jesus don't die. Jesus elevates himself to a higher consciousness and a higher humanity. And the story is to show that we have to take care of our children in order to have future, a better future. And to create this show, what you need is, that's what I explained to one of the performers yesterday, dedicate time, energy, love to what you want to share. So this means to sacrifice other things in order to serve what you are looking for. And to really, if you believe in your thing, yeah, of course it takes administration, production, money. Let's talk about it. Also, it's hard because so many things happening everywhere. So how do I stand out of this? This is my personal advice. I don't wait. I provoke. I want to do this. I call those people and I say, look, I would really be interested to be here. It doesn't work, at least I have tried. I just wrote a few days ago, I left a message to AFK 8 weeks, and I tell her, look, I have an idea, and I think I would like to share it with you. Maybe she will never answer. Maybe she will. But if I don't try, how can I know? And how she can know that I have this idea if I don't share it to her? I dream to work at the Crazy Horse. I wrote to the director 3 times. Now I understand, okay, it's fini. But at least I have tried. And sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have, like, for example, we want to bring Pieta to the festival in Girona, in my own town now. And we wrote to the director, he never answered. And I'm like, they were like, it's okay, Marion, like the producer said, it's okay. No. I find a way, I open LinkedIn, which I didn't have 2 weeks ago. I opened LinkedIn because David said, maybe you can find a connection through LinkedIn. And eventually, I asked David to write in Catalan. And the man finally answered. And I meet him next week.
Got yours.
I meet him next week. Maybe it doesn't go anywhere, but at least I will sleep at peace because I have tried.
Small question. You use word provoke instead, or I usually use attract. Why exactly provoke?
Manifest. Also
Maybe
because
there's meaning.
Because also it's kind of complex in my brain because I speak many languages.
Okay.
So sometimes a word that I use for in one language, I'm gonna make with David. We don't speak a language. Sometimes friends are like, "What the fuck are you saying?" But we understand each other. So maybe some words that I use also it's because of other.
Because I thought maybe there is a meaning. Provocation is a little bit more aggressive movement than
Yeah,
attraction.
but it depends because in some language I'm speaking has less this meaning.
Yeah. Okay.
For example, t'estimo in Catalan, je t'estime in French is completely different meaning.
Yeah.
So the first time my husband said t'estimo, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because in French it means something else. It has you say for different reason.
Yeah.
So no, provoke. Yeah, it's actually also true. I'm a bit like, hey.
I'm here.
Yeah, because manifesting it can be sometimes like, I'm a bit like, because also my biologic, physical clock, however, I'm very young and everything, I'm also more to the other side of the, like, if we live at least for 80 years, since 2 years I jumped on the second part of this life. I'm 42. There is a long way to go. I did one life, there is another one life, But it's one life where ability is physical, at least. For example, Pieta is very physical, and my partner is over 50. It's now. And I agree, David the other day said, Marion, everything you want to do, ask for it now. Because maybe it will take 5 years to happen, and this 5 years is in a maturation body, it's different than when you are 20 and in 5 years, you're 25. In 5 years, you're close to 50, which is very young, but abilities are different, and this is a fact.
Yeah.
You find other way, but for example, for this physical performance with Zia, for example, for the last part of the show, he carried me for 10 minutes spinning, and I'm doing sort of pole dancing on his body. In 5 years, eventually we will have to adapt, maybe not, but the eventuality that's yes, we might have to adapt. So it's now that we can serve Pieta as we created.
How it is being performer? How does it look? Do you travel with these performances, or usually it?
With Pieta, for example, yes, we are. We call all the theater in the world and festival if they would like to have us. And so we have a producer, Marcello. He's calling festival for now because people need to heard about it. We send materials. They want to see the entire show. Teaser, but also the entire show because they need to understand what they're going to propose to the audience. And then they decide to buy the show. So we have a budget with light, design, setting, technical, rigor, costume and all this, plus us, and traveling expenses. And we are performing in Bulgaria the 10, 11 and 12 September. If you can make it, it would be an honor. In Toplo Centrale, and we are also probably in Italy and hopefully in Girona. Manifesti provocating everything. And many other places. I wish to do it in everywhere. In Europe, of course, but also other places. I would love it. It's a beautiful message. And yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it's not, the aim is not to be rich with it. It's to share the message. But of course, yeah,
we are in material world, so
c'est la vie.
We should care sometimes, yeah, also about that. Our conversation is coming to an end. Is there something you want to share with the audience?
I think I have shared a lot. And thank you so much for listening. And it was also very beautiful to listen to you. And yeah, I'm very... It sounds cheesy, but it's the truth. I'm so grateful for this human experience I'm having. I'm learning all the time. I really try to be a better version of what I am. I try to be more loving myself. Because I know I have a lot of time and dedication and energy for loving others, but I also need to love myself a bit more. So this is a constant learning. And yeah, to understand that life is happening and that's it. And I really wish more empathy, more compassion, more love. I would love to, as my dear friend Zia always say, dare to love. And yeah, like to through this community that is pole dancing, but not only, because it's just a part of what we are, to keep growing, to keep evolving together, to keep training like everybody do, because it's absolutely fascinating and fuel for me. And yeah, like I'm excited for what is to come, whatever it is. And yeah, voila.
Thank you for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.